everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's October 21st, 2022, and this is the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog news headlines, talk about some recent prog singles that have been coming out, and give you some updates on the channel and what's going on here on Nathan on Shuffle. So hopefully you guys will be excited about the show today. There's some interesting items that I want to get into. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I always recommend subscribing. We're getting close to 2,500 subscribers. I'm really excited about it. So any subscriptions would help me if you guys haven't subscribed yet, but you enjoy the show. And a like and a comment as well is always very supportive and helpful. So thank you guys so much for your support. And let's dive into the news today. So first of all, item number 1, I like to get into the new releases of the day, of the week. And today there's potentially 2 interesting releases that I'm wanting to cover here. First is Avantasia, A Paranormal Evening with the Moonflower Society. Of course, Avantasia is like a big rock metal opera project from Tobias Sammet, kind of along the lines of what Arjen Lucassen does with Arion. This is similar, in a similar vein, these big story albums with multiple guests and guest vocalists and musicians coming on board. I feel like Avantasia is a bit more into the power metal style genre, not so much proggy, but more leaning towards that symphonic metal style, whereas Arjen Lucassen has a lot of progressive rock influences in his rock operas, but still really fun music, a lot of really fun guests to be had here. There's Eric Martin, Michael Kiske, Ronnie Atkins, Jeff Tate, Bob Catley, Floriansen is on board on this project as well. Just a whole host of different singers and a cool concept to enjoy. So definitely one to recommend if you're into that more power symphonic metal style with a cool concept. And then the other one is one that I'm kind of unsure about. Arena, The Theory of Molecular Inheritance is one I've been looking forward to. It's been released, I believe, in certain formats already. You could already order the vinyl and the CD, but the official wide release was supposed to be for today. I'm not really seeing it on any streaming or digital platforms as of yet, but I'm kind of hoping that it'll pop up somewhere where you can stream it or listen to it in a digital form. That's the way I was hoping to listen to it, but so far it's I haven't been able to find it yet, but it's one I've been excited about and wanting to listen to. So far it seems like you have to order the physical CD or vinyl. If any of you have come across a digital or streaming version, I would be very appreciative of that information, but this is a cool release for the year that has a lot of excitement around it. Arena is one of the premier neo-prog bands, and this is their first album with new singer Damian Wilson, who's an English musician, songwriter, and vocalist, appeared on tons of different releases. Once again, has appeared on an Arion album, on Arion's work as well, Star One, Praying Mantis, all this sort of stuff. He's been the lead singer of Headspace and Threshold, just been around the block and is slotting in here to front Arena, taking over from their previous singer. So this should be a cool release. Once again, celebrating their 25th anniversary of their first studio album, so it's a pretty good accomplishment, and I've been hearing good press and good buzz about this one, so definitely if you can seek it out, another cool one to check out. But not sure about the release date. It's a little bit nebulous about, is it released today? Has it already been released? Is there a wider release coming where you can stream it or find it in a different format? We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on that one. All right, prog headline number 2, a new Riverside single came out today, I'm Done With You, from their upcoming new album ID.Entity. Now, Riverside is a Polish progressive rock band, leans a little bit into the metal side of the spectrum, but still keeps a lot of that progressive rock spirit, some atmospheric sections kind of akin to Pink Floyd, but done with a lot more of bite and edge. And they're one of my favorite groups and have done so many great albums throughout the years. I believe I saw somewhere that they're entering their 3rd decade as a band with this album. So this is really exciting. The new single is really strong. It kind of harkens back to their early releases, like Out of Myself. So that's kind of fun to hear them embrace their earlier style. Maybe there's a bit of an anniversary type feel. I know they released a big anniversary disc, 2-disc set, I believe, that came out earlier. I believe it was only digital, streaming only, but really cool set of just all of their classics. One side the shorts and one side the longs of some of their shorter tracks, and then some of their bigger, longer epics. But this sounds like it's going to be a great album. ID.Entity, the group's 8th studio album, recorded and mixed in 2 different studios, the Boogie Town Studios in Otwock with Paweł Marcinak, and the Sirocco studio in Warsaw with Magda and Robert Strzelnicki, mastered by Robert Stinslow and produced by Riverside's Mariusz Duda himself. So really excited for the new album, coming out January 20th, 2023. Not too far away, really, a couple months away. Gonna be probably one of the first albums dropping, the first major prog albums dropping in the new year in 2023, so I'll definitely be talking about it. I've already pre-ordered the vinyl in my local shop, so it's going to be fun to be able to hear that one, and I'm really excited about what we have in store for this new album. Seems like it could be a really strong one, and if the new single's any indication of what we might be able to expect. So item number 3, Waters, Gilmour, and Mason are going to appear in a Syd Barrett documentary upcoming. The documentary is going to be called Have You Got It Yet? The Story of Syd Barrett and Pink Floyd. So it'll be interesting to hear these legendary figures of Pink Floyd giving their memories of their late Pink Floyd bandmate Syd Barrett. It's reported that Mercury Studios has completed work on the documentary about Syd Barrett, the Cambridge-born musician, attended high school with Roger Waters, co-founded Pink Floyd, and wrote the band's first 2 singles, Arnold Lane and See Emily Play, both released in 1967, but unfortunately he was eased out of the band the following years as the bandmates were increasingly alarmed by his erratic behavior and his use of psychedelic drugs, and so the band went on forward from there, and of course went on to do a lot of major big hits with Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and The Wall, but a lot of that had Syd Barrett's memories and things baked in. You know, they did a lot of conceptual pieces that drew a lot of influence from Syd Barrett and his interactions with the band and the things that he was going through in his life, because he had a lot of mental issues and a lot of problems and things, and those were explored in some of those landmark albums. So it'll be interesting to hear the band members give their accounting of Syd Barrett and their memories of him in this documentary. So the film's soundtrack is said to include over 50 Pink Floyd and Syd Barrett songs, so it should have a really cool and interesting soundtrack. In addition to the former bandmates, The Who's Pete Townsend and Blur's Graham Coxon are among those sharing their thoughts. I don't believe there's a release date yet for this documentary, but it's something to look out for when it comes for those fans of Pink Floyd, especially the early days of Pink Floyd with Syd Barrett. Item number 4, Tubular Bells is having its 50th anniversary celebration, and this will be released on a 2 CD and 2 Blu-ray package via Cleopatra on November 18th. The companion CD and vinyl editions are going to be due for release on October 28th. So we've got a big recording filmed over 3 nights in London in August 2021, presented in 4K, including performances from the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and Circa Contemporary Circus. And it's also going to feature a feature-length documentary on the history of Mike Oldfield's iconic piece. So really cool to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Tubular Bells, a monumental piece of music and highly inspirational in the prog genre, originally released in 1973. And there's going to be a whole host of tour dates across the UK in spring 2023. So some great orchestral performances to anticipate there. So a lot happening in the world of Tubular Bells, and should be fun to celebrate that album and to look up this 50th anniversary tour and what it's all about and see how that goes. So really cool set to check out. And then at item number 5 is really, I want to start into talking about some of these prog singles that have come out this week, because there's really a lot of really great, interesting singles that I want to link to below. I actually have 7 on my list, so usually I try to restrict it to 5, but I thought all 7 of these that I found were worthy. The first one is the one I already talked about, Riverside, I'm Done With You, from their upcoming album. Second, I put in Charlie Griffiths' Crawl, Walk, Run, which is from Tiktalika, which came out earlier this year. But this is the first video that's been released of it, and it's you can see the band playing and performing on it. It's a really cool project. Of course, Charlie Griffiths is a member of Haken, and this is his solo release, and it's a cool, heavy song that I think is really well done and a great personification of the album. So definitely check that out. I've got Wheel and their track Synchronize. This is on the heels of their deal with Inside Out Music. So this is one of their first releases under the Inside Out label. They're going to release an upcoming EP called Rumination, arriving November 10th. But this song, Synchronize, is a beautiful track, a little bit more laid back and more ballad-esque, but really with the edge that they're known for. They're a little bit progressive metal, little bit similar to Tool in style, but this is a really, really, really cool track that I really enjoyed listening to. And so this should be a lot of fun to anticipate this new EP coming out shortly. Another track, Klone, Within Reach. Klone is an alt-metal art rock collective. They are on the K-Scope label, and this is a new track from an upcoming release coming in 2023. There isn't really much details about the release, but it's a really wonderful song, really showcases their spirit, and a little bit heavier, but fun nonetheless. Really great production, great sound. Another standout track, Mare, with their track Sister. This is a duo featuring I Am the Morning's Marjana Simkina and Cellar Darling's Anna Murphy coming together and really collaborating on an incredible piece of music. It's more chamber pop, but with a little bit of prog elements to it, but it's really beautiful and haunting and atmospheric. Has some incredible vocalists. They're two of the best vocalists out there. I hope this leads to more projects together, because this is really fantastic stuff that I really highly recommend checking out if you like that sort of atmospheric, folky kind of chamber pop style with some just beautiful haunting vocals and some great storytelling. I just really adore that piece of music. And then Circles has a new track, Echo. Circles is an alt-metal group from Melbourne. Really incredible track. It kind of starts almost a bit poppy-ish with a really cool melody line and some like drums and atmospheric pads. But then it gets heavier and heavier and morphs into this like really heavy crunching metal song at the end. So it's a really great track that should be a good sign of what's to come from their upcoming release. I believe it's an upcoming EP, The Stories We Are Afraid Of, Volume 1, a 2-part EP out November 25th. So they're a heavier group, kind of in that gent movement, but really have a great style to them and great vocals and great production. It just sounds really fantastic. And then finally, Molly Baron released their track Vampires, a French and Irish alternative progressive rock outfit that just signed on to Inside Out Records. This is one of their first new releases, and it hopefully portends some good stuff for the band, some upcoming activities in 2023. Their previous album that came out last year was The Mutiny, which was somewhat re-released for Inside Out, so another album to check out. Another pretty heavy group. You know, this is a pretty heavy track. So there's some heavier metal on this list this week, but it's all just really well done, and I wanted to spotlight some of these incredible tracks. So that's what I have for you guys for this week. Some interesting tracks to check out, some interesting news items. I'm excited for the upcoming Riverside album. That really is the highlight to me of this week. But please let me know in the comments what the highlights were for you guys this week in Prog, and what news you guys are aware of, and what releases are coming out that I may have missed and not seen come out. So beyond that, with the channel, had a really great time this week. Had a collaborative video that I want to point your attention towards that I did with Notes Reviews and Similitude of Prog and Rhyme Signatures. They're incredible Prog YouTubers that I recommend heavily. We talked about the best releases in the third quarter of this year. It was a lot of fun to talk with fellow friends in Prog, and I'm hoping to do more of these collaborative videos in the future. There's a lot of talks in the works of trying to do these a bit more regularly and collaborating more and more. So really excited about it. It's fun for me breaking out of my shell a little bit. You know, I'm an anxious person and I usually don't socialize very much and talk with people, but it's been really fun coming out of my shell and being part of these shows, and I always want to be open to collaborating with these people because it's a lot of fun. I feel like we're building this cool little prog group of people who really appreciate new prog music and but still have a love of the classics as well. So look out for more collaborative videos there. Also on my channel, a great review for Door 1 by David Lungden, a great posthumous release from one of my favorite modern prog artists. Really, really special album, and I recommend that album. And beyond that, another top 5 this week that I thought was a lot of fun, prog band names. Check that out if you're interested in my top 5 prog band names. And just all the usual stuff coming out in the future. More top 5s, more Prog Song Sundays with my wife. And it's just a fun time to talk about music. I'm really excited. So thank you guys for joining me, and hopefully you appreciated this program, and I'll hopefully catch you guys in a future video. Enjoy the music, guys. Bye.